Volvo Penta ruled the Sterndrive world like a Scandinavian giant. Unshakable, untouchable, untouchable. But then came Yamaha. Not with noise, not with hype, but with a whisper-smooth clutch and a quiet war plan. No one expected a company known for outboards and motorbikes to challenge the king of inboards on its own waters. But that's exactly what happened. This is the true story of how Yamaha crept up, out-engineered the competition, and became Volvo Penta's biggest threat. Before we get into the battle between Yamaha and Volvo Penta, let's answer the one question most new boaters are too afraid to ask. What even is a sterndrive? And why does it matter? A sterndrive, or inboard-outboard, I.O., is kind of like the mullet of marine propulsion. Business in the front, party in the back. The engine sits inside the hull, like an inboard, but the drive unit sticks out the stern, like an outboard. That means you get the power and stability of an inboard, combined with the maneuverability and trim control of an outboard. It's the best of both worlds, and for decades it was the go-to setup for runabouts, cruisers, and ski boats. Sterndrives are also compact. They free up space in the boat, make engine access easier, and keep the center of gravity low. Great for handling at speed. And unlike traditional inboards, you can tilt the drive up to clear shallow water or reduce drag at higher speeds. But here's the real magic. Sterndrives feel refined. The power delivery is smoother, the noise levels are lower, and the ride is quieter. If you've only ever driven an outboard, a good sterndrive setup can feel like stepping into a luxury car after years in a pickup. And that's exactly the space Volvo Penta mastered until Yamaha decided to rewrite the rules. Hit that subscribe button if you're into real marine power, and stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see how Yamaha quietly became the one brand Volvo Penta can't ignore. If sterndrives are the luxury sedans of the boating world, then Volvo Penta has long been its Mercedes-Benz. Smooth, engineered to perfection, and just expensive enough to remind you it's premium. This isn't some scrappy newcomer story. Volvo Penta has been in the marine game for over a century. Their first marine engine dropped back in 1907. By 1959, they'd flipped the entire boating industry on its head with the introduction of the Aquamatic Sterndrive. That was the birth of modern inboard-outboard propulsion. While others were still figuring out how to bolt car engines onto boats, Volvo was building marine-first solutions. Then came the game changer, duoprop. Twin counter-rotating props on a single drive unit. It sliced through cavitation, gave you insane low-speed control, and let heavy boats launch like rockets. Volvo wasn't just making engines, they were shaping how people experienced boating. Over the decades, they added joystick docking, forward-facing drives for wake surfing, and even hybrid electric propulsion. And thanks to their global dealer network, spanning 130-plus countries, Volvo Penta became the go-to for high-end OEMs like Regal, Cobalt, and even Princess yachts. They were fast, quiet, efficient, and everywhere. For years, they were untouchable. But perfection has a price. And that's where Yamaha saw its opening. Not by outspending Volvo, but by out-smoothing, out-servicing, and outlasting them. Quietly, relentlessly, and with serious Japanese precision. Yamaha didn't kick down the door to the sterndrive market. They didn't roll in with fanfare, fireworks, or bold claims. That's not their style. Instead, they slipped in quietly in the early 1990s with a machine so smooth and refined, it didn't shout for attention. It earned it. Their first major sterndrive release, the Yamaha Series, launched in 1992. It came equipped with something the competition didn't see coming, a hydraulic clutch. While other brands were still relying on clunky mechanical shifting, Yamaha introduced gear changes that felt like slicing butter with a hot knife. No jerks, no grinding, just an elegant click and go. For boaters used to jolts and shudders, it was love at first throttle. And this wasn't some automotive V8 stuffed into a hull. Yamaha built the entire powertrain themselves. Engine block, fuel system, lower unit. Everything was designed in-house for marine use. That meant better corrosion resistance, tighter integration, and complete quality control. Boating publications noticed. Awards followed. Suddenly, Yamaha wasn't just that outboard company from Japan. They were a serious contender in the Sterndrive game. And while the big players were busy competing with each other, Yamaha focused on making the cleanest, smoothest, most user-friendly Sterndrive experience on the market. They didn't come to win by brute force. They came to win with finesse. If the hydraulic clutch was Yamaha's opening punch, the TRP, twin rotating propellers, was the knockout jab that proved they weren't just dabbling in Sterndrives. They were coming for blood. Launched in the mid-1990s, the Yamaha TRP was their answer to Volvo Penta's famous duo prop. Both systems used counter-rotating propellers on a single shaft to increase thrust, eliminate steering torque, and boost low-speed control. But while Volvo's duoprop catered to performance cruisers and high-end yachts, Yamaha's TRP aimed squarely at everyday boaters, those who needed muscle, but without the complexity or cost. And here's the thing. It worked. The TRP didn't just perform. It thrived in real-world conditions. It gave fishing boats better tracking in current. It helped wakeboard boats get up on plane faster. It made family runabouts feel more stable under load. And it did it all while staying simple enough to be serviced without a marine engineering degree. The TRP unit wasn't as flashy as Volvo's. No joystick control, no underwater cameras or digital overlays. But what it had was feel. It gave boaters instant confidence behind the wheel. Precise turning, predictable power, and a sense of control that turned first-time drivers into veterans in a weekend. It wasn't just an alternative to Volvo, it was a statement. Yamaha could match performance without mimicking complexity. And boaters began to take notice. Not just in the US, but around the world. By the early 2000s, the lines were clear. Yamaha and Volvo Penta weren't just competing on horsepower. They were offering two entirely different visions of what a Sterndrive should be. Volvo Penta doubled down on cutting-edge tech. Their drives were marvels of engineering, brimming with innovation, joystick docking, forward-facing props for wake surfing, and integrations with massive glass cockpit displays. Their engines weren't just power plants, they were part of a seamless digital boating experience. Luxury, performance, automation. That was the Volvo way. Yamaha, on the other hand, stayed laser-focused on refinement and reliability. They weren't trying to reinvent boating with touchscreen tech or joystick theatrics. Their mission was simpler. Make an engine that runs flawlessly, shifts like silk, and lasts forever. While Volvo chased the high end, Yamaha doubled down on the mid-range market. Runabouts, fishing boats, family cruisers, where simplicity still mattered. The result? Two very loyal, very different user bases. Volvo owners brag about docking with a joystick and sipping wine in climate-controlled cockpits. Yamaha owners nod quietly, knowing their Sterndrive hasn't missed a beat in 15 years. And that if it ever did, parts and service are readily available. It's not that one is better than the other. It's that they're playing different games. But make no mistake, Yamaha's way was working, especially in saltwater markets, where corrosion eats complexity for breakfast, and dependability matters more than digital bells and whistles. Enjoying the ride? Tap that like button and keep watching. because in just a moment, we'll break down how Yamaha turned a shrinking Sterndrive market into their secret advantage. By the late 2000s, the Sterndrive world started changing fast, and not in a good way. Outboards were getting lighter, faster, and way more efficient. 4-strokes replaced the smoky old 2-strokes. Digital throttle and shift systems made them feel refined. Suddenly, outboards weren't just for fishermen. They were powering 30-foot center consoles and even luxury pontoons. Meanwhile, Sterndrive sales started to slump. In North America alone, unit sales dropped nearly 25% between 2012 and 2016. Boat builders that had relied on I/O packages, like Bayliner and Chaparral, started redesigning hulls to accommodate twin outboards instead. The Sterndrive market looked like it was on life support. But here's where Yamaha made a key move. They didn't panic. Instead of chasing the high end or trying to match outboard trends, they focused on the one segment where Sterndrives still mattered: premium mid-size boats, sport boats, wake boats, affordable cruisers where Sterndrives still offered better balance, lower noise, and a clean transom for water sports. And they leaned into their strengths: durability, corrosion resistance, and incredibly smooth shifting. While other brands either exited the market or went full throttle into outboards, Yamaha held the line. They trimmed their Sterndrive lineup, refined their packages, and quietly became the go-to for builders who still wanted a solid I/O option that didn't break the bank or break down. In a shrinking market, Yamaha didn't just survive. They positioned themselves as the smart, reliable choice for the boaters who still believed in the Sterndrive. Fast forward to now, and Yamaha's Sterndrive lineup is lean, focused, and laser-targeted. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. Instead, they've doubled down on what matters most to serious boaters: reliability, refinement, and real-world usability. At the core of today's Yamaha Sterndrives are their purpose-built marine engines, 4.3-litre V6 and 5.7-litre V8s, not retrofitted car blocks, but true marine-grade power plants. These engines are designed from the inside out to handle salt water, extreme temperatures, and years of abuse without flinching. Think marine-grade aluminum alloy, stainless internals, and a cooling system that laughs in the face of brackish water. They still feature Yamaha's signature hydraulic clutch, giving boaters the quietest, smoothest gear changes in the category. That's not just a comfort perk. It reduces wear and tear on the driveline, making everything last longer. Then there's the TRP still kicking. Twin counter-rotating props that deliver rock-solid thrust, especially at low speeds or when maneuvering in wind and current. Yamaha gives users the option between single prop and TRP configurations, so buyers can tailor the drive to their exact needs. You won't find flashy touchscreens or joystick gimmicks here, but you will find well-thought-out engineering, easy serviceability, and an engine that just works, season after season. And for OEM partners across Europe, Australia, and Southeast Asia, that's more than enough. Builders like Pacific Craft, Yamarine, and others continue to spec Yamaha Sterndrives because they know what they're getting: proven performance with none of the drama. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's exactly what keeps boats on the water and customers loyal. Now here's the wild part. While the North American Sterndrive market has shrunk, the global picture tells a different story. In regions like Northern Europe, Southeast Asia, and Australia, Sterndrives are still alive and kicking. And guess who's quietly taking more of that pie? Yamaha. In 2023, the global Sterndrive engine market was valued at roughly $4.5 billion. And despite the outboard craze, analysts expect that number to grow past $6.5 billion by 2032. Why? Because there's still strong demand for fuel-efficient, mid-range power in markets that prioritize simplicity, reliability, and long-term value over flashy tech. Volvo Penta remains strong in premium yacht builders and advanced tech markets, but their price point and service ecosystem often cater to wealthier buyers and high-end OEMs. Yamaha, meanwhile, slides comfortably into a very different slot, serving builders who want durable, service-friendly Sterndrive systems for everyday boaters. And they're doing it without the complicated digital ecosystems that scare off DIY owners and smaller shops. In places like Finland, Malaysia, or New Zealand, a simple, powerful V8 with TRP and a reputation for going 10 years without a hiccup. That's gold. And that's where Yamaha thrives. It's a quiet conquest, without press releases or massive boat show reveals. Yamaha just keeps doing what it does best, building rock-solid engines, shipping them globally, and letting performance do the talking. While other brands market harder, Yamaha just engineers better. And in the long game of global marine power, that counts for more than hype. At the heart of this rivalry lies something deeper than torque curves and propeller design. It's a difference in philosophy. Volvo Penta wants to redefine boating. They believe the future is digital integration, joystick docking, semi-autonomous systems, and eventually electric pods gliding silently under million-dollar yachts. And to be fair, they're doing an incredible job of pushing that future forward. Their IPS and forward drive systems are engineering marvels. Their innovation pipeline is packed with bold ideas, and their boats are often the centerpiece at major yacht expos. But that future isn't for everyone. Yamaha doesn't try to change how people boat. They try to improve it, subtly, mechanically, predictably. Their marine engineers obsess over clutch pressure curves and corrosion resistance. They test components for years before releasing them. Their motto? If it fails in salt water, it wasn't ready. Yamaha isn't chasing innovation headlines, they're chasing the perfect shift. The smoothest idle, the fewest service calls over 10 seasons. They know their customers. Weekend boaters, saltwater diehards, offshore fishers. People who'd rather spend Sunday on the water than updating firmware. And in a world full of complexity, there's something incredibly refreshing about that. So when you line up these two titans, Volvo with its tech-stacked dreams, Yamaha with its mechanical poetry, you're not just choosing a Sterndrive, you're choosing a philosophy. Do you want the most advanced boat? Or the one you'll still be driving 15 years from now without ever calling a tech? Let's talk future, because whether we like it or not, the marine industry is going electric. Governments are tightening emissions rules. Fuel efficiency is no longer a luxury, it's a mandate. And boaters, especially in Europe and California, are starting to look at alternatives to gas-guzzling power plants. Volvo Penta is already leaning in. Their electric drivetrains are in pilot programs. Their hybrid IPS systems have been tested on commercial vessels. And they're not shy about marketing their green ambitions. Yamaha, on the other hand, is playing their cards close. No major press release. No prototype electric Sterndrive unveiled at Cannes or Genoa. But if you've been watching Yamaha closely, you know something's brewing. They've already developed electric motorcycles, they've announced hydrogen engine research, and behind the scenes, their marine division has filed patents for electric propulsion systems, battery management units, and integrated controls. So will we see an electric Yamaha Sterndrive? Maybe not tomorrow, but make no mistake, it's coming. And when it does, it won't be a rushed, experimental system. It'll be tested, saltwater certified, dealer ready, and designed to last a decade or more, because that's how Yamaha moves. They don't chase trends, they study, perfect, and then quietly drop a product that makes everyone else look rushed. And when that moment comes, Volvo Penta might finally have a rival not just in hardware, but in next-gen propulsion too. Why this rivalry still matters today. So why should any of this matter to you, whether you're a weekend boater, a yacht enthusiast, or just someone scrolling deep into marine YouTube? Because the Yamaha versus Volvo Penta rivalry isn't just about engines, it's about choice. It's about the kind of boating experience you want to have and the kind of company you trust to deliver it. Volvo Penta gives you elegance, integration, and bleeding-edge tech. If you want your boat to feel like a Tesla on water, with touchscreens, auto trim, and joystick docking, they've got you covered. Their systems are beautiful, efficient, and evolving fast. For some boaters, that's everything. But Yamaha offers something different, something more grounded. They offer predictability. The kind of engine that starts every time, shifts like silk, and doesn't need 3 software updates before you can go fishing. They offer peace of mind, the kind that comes from knowing you can run that motor hard, rinse it off, and trust it'll be ready again next weekend. And as boating gets more expensive, more digital, and more complicated, that kind of simplicity is becoming rare and powerful. This rivalry matters because it keeps both companies sharp. It keeps innovation honest, and it gives boaters the freedom to choose between cutting-edge tech and bulletproof mechanics. Not many battles in the marine world last this long, but Yamaha versus Volvo Penta? That's one worth watching. Because it's not just about the past, it's shaping what marine power will look like for the next 20 years. Final verdict: the quiet challenger versus the reigning innovator. When you zoom out and look at the full picture, it's clear. Yamaha didn't come to dethrone Volvo Penta with brute force. They came to build a better mousetrap, quieter, smoother, tougher, and simpler. And they did it. Volvo Penta is still the luxury tech leader in the Sterndrive space. Their duoprop system, forward drive, and joystick docking are marvels of modern engineering. They've earned their reputation, and their dominance in high-end markets is well-deserved. But Yamaha carved out something Volvo never expected: trust. They earned it through restraint, refinement, and relentless testing. Through a commitment to marine-first engineering and customer-first reliability. Through drives that shift perfectly year after year and still run strong with 800 hours on the clock. Through dealers who don't need a laptop to diagnose every issue. So who wins? If you're chasing the latest gadget, the most integrated helm, or dream of docking with a joystick, Volvo's your pick. But if you're after an engine that just works, without the drama, without the maintenance roller coaster, and without the learning curve, then Yamaha is your brand. This isn't David versus Goliath. It's something more interesting. It's a story of 2 giants, one loud, one quiet. One changing everything. One perfecting what already works. And in today's world, both approaches matter more than ever. The rise of Yamaha Sterndrives wasn't loud, fast, or flashy. It was earned. One smooth shift at a time. So now you know. The untold story of how Yamaha quietly rose to become Volvo Penta's biggest rival in the Sterndrive world. Not through flashy tech or marketing hype, but by focusing on the fundamentals. Smooth shifting, saltwater durability, and a reputation for never letting you down. If you've ever owned a Yamaha, you already get it. And if you haven't yet, maybe it's time to find out why so many boaters swear by them. Not because they're loud, but because they last. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful or eye-opening, give us a like, drop a comment below, and hit subscribe for more deep dives into the machines that move us, on water, land, and everything in between.